Hi, and welcome to my guide on my Frost Leagues build for 3.4, the Dove League. Before we get started, I would like to showcase what the gameplay looks like and what you're going to be expecting. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and show that now. Okay, now that you have an idea of what the build looks like at endgame levels and with pretty much gear, that was with a tabula and just some run-of-the-mill stuff. You can do this build with about 20 Chaos Orbs, which is pretty cheap, and that's at endgame level. That'll get to you about tier 11s to tier 12s. At that point, you're going to need to put some more money in, about another 30-40 chaos, and that'll get you up to about tier 14s, tier 15s. And that's when the build kind of peaks. The build's not meant for boss killing. You can't really kill the guardians that well. I have killed the Minotaur and Chimera the build. I've never tried Hydra or other things like that, but that is what you can expect from the build. But let's go ahead and get started. Now that we're in game, I'd like to go ahead and showcase the passage tree and this general outline of the build, what to aim for on your gear and whatnot. So let's go ahead and start with gear first. Our gear is pretty simple what we do this league, and for most leagues. We're still using our touch English because they're fantastic. They do exactly what we want with the build. They give us freeze, they give us shining abilities, and they also give us a ton of damage for free, basically. The damage you get from these things is so hard to beat, it's ridiculous how good they are. And they also give us frenzies too, which is insane. Sarkochi's Hood is still the best item in the game, I think, for our build. It is fantastic what it does. It gives us life, it gives us attack speed, it even increases our evasion if we get on low life, which is fantastic for surviving the content if we ever get low enough. I don't have the Belly of the Beast right now. I could buy it right quick, but at some point. The ideal item for this build is Belly of the Beast. You can use a Tabula Rasa like I'm doing right now. You will have life problems, like I have 4.2k life, but that's also because I don't have amazing gear. My gear is pretty shoddy at best. It's very mediocre. For rings, we just use basic elemental res rings with accuracy in them. If you can get elemental damage from attacks on here, it is fantastic, but it's expensive. And the same thing with the other ring. Amulet is basically the same thing as well. We're going for intelligence and strength. And if you can get not weg, elemental damage of attacks or life, it's amazing. So basically, you just want life and your int, some accuracy if you can. Crit multiplier is also very good. Crit multiplier is pretty slept on. You can get pretty cheap usually, so definitely try and get crit multiplier if you can't get damage attacks. Our ideal gloves are spike gloves because it gives you 20% increased melee damage, which is very, very good. It's like saying how good that is. And you also want to aim for life and res in the gloves. That's about it. If you can get attack speed, that's also great, but those are usually pretty pricey. Our ideal belt is just res and life. That's about it. Just res and life. If you can get res and life in your belt, you did good. Boots are about the same thing as well, just movement speed, life, and resistance. We don't use a lot of uniques in this build, which is why I think it's very easy to do at Self-Found. So yeah. Now our flasks are pretty simple. We just use a Eternal Life Flask, a Azuri's Promise, a Quicksilver Flask, a Diamond Flask, and a Silver Flask. These are all pretty simple on the prefixes. It's basically just aiming for speed for the Quicksilver Flask, curse removal, and then freeze removal, and then bleeding removal. That's all you're looking for. You don't really need much else for the flask. Now for gems, we're doing Fortify, Whirling Blades, faster attacks for one of our weapons. The reason we do this is because Fortify is great for increasing our survivability, and it also just it's a extra gem slot I had, so I felt it was something that was decent. And we also use Curse on Hit, Hatred, Hero of Ice, and Assassin's Mark. The reason we do this is because Assassin's Mark is a fantastic curse for us. It gives us crit chance, it gives us power charges on slaying enemies, and it also increases the damage you take from crit strikes. It's basically everything you want in one curse. It is fantastic. Nothing beats it, really. For our main gem setup, which is what we use for our main skill, we use Frost Blades, Elemental Damage of Attacks, Ancestral Call, Added Cold Damage, Multi-Strike, Hypothermia. Now this is the ideal gem set for AoE. If you are doing bossing, you would go ahead and swap out your Ancestral Call with Ruthless. So you would just go like this in a boss fight, and you would get a substantial DPS increase. Basically what you would do with Ruthless then is you would have it in another gem area. Usually I would put it in my other weapon, so I'll go like this and just put it in here while leveling. And when I need it, I would pull it out by going to my weapon and just taking it out and put it in here. And then switching back to my primaries. That is the ideal way I feel of leveling your Ruthless without sacrificing your gem links, while also having Ruthless available for slaying bosses. And my other gem setup is this Val Double Strike with Summon Ice Golem. Val Double Strike is a pretty fantastic skill. It's not needed at all. You don't have to use it at all if you can't afford it or you can't find it if you're doing Self-Found, but yeah. Ancestral War Chief is our totem we use for this build. Melee physical support, elemental damage of attacks, and Conk Effect is what we use for our support for it. I don't really think I need to go in depth on why we use this stuff. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just more damage, basically. For our cast and damage taken, we use Frost Bomb, Immortal Call, cast and damage taken, of course, and increased duration. Frost Bomb is a pretty nice skill to have. It makes it so enemies don't regenerate the health as fast. So, good stuff. Now, that's about it for our gems and gear. As you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory and easily after you see it. It's like, oh, okay. Just life and res. That's basically that's all we use for this build is this life and res. We just try to stack it up as high as possible. Now, for our passage tree, this is a bit different. We do Assassin. Now, most Frostblade's build, at least back in the day, they went Raider or Pathfinder. Pathfinder was sort of if you're like rich, and you're trying to do a ton of flask stacking, but Raider was the primary thing. Now, I feel Assassin is the new Raider in that regard. Assassin is easily the best Assassin you can do for Frostblades. It gives you crit chance, it gives you damage, and you can just stack up life or if you want more damage, which is what we kind of do. So firstly, if you are playing this build, you go Unstable Infusion, Ambush to Assassinate, Opportunistic, and then Deadly Infusion. I'm not really going to go in depth on why we leveled the tree up this way, because I have guides on my Path of Exile.com that are far better in explaining that than I can in a video. It would take way too long to explain all that. But I will explain why I take these ascendancies the way we do. Unsealed fusion is for the power charges on crit and uncrit, so they give you more crit chance while you're leveling. Ambush and Assassinate is fantastic for leveling because it gives you a 100% increased crit chance, which is amazing at level 50. I think it's when you get that. And your crits also have Quelling Strike, which is amazing. Opportunistic is pretty self-explanatory why we do that one. It's just more damage for killing bosses, which is a pretty big problem for most Frostlake's builds, but if you get that, it's fantastic. And then the last one is pretty easy as well. It's just more damage. That's it. I'm not gonna go in depth on why we level this way. Like I said, I have a build guide in the forum that explains it way better than I could, and it's also easier I think for playing the game because you don't have to just pause the video and rewind it to find what I said. So if you want to figure out how to level the tree in the ideal way, go to the link below in the description and you'll have every single piece of information you need. That is gonna be about it for me though, because I don't really have much else to say about the build. It does amazingly well in Delve League, I feel, and it'll be amazing. So it's basically the same thing as Incursion League, but that's ideal. Incursion League was amazing for us. It was easily one of the best builds I played in Incursion League. So, yeah. I hope you guys have a nice day. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I have a Discord that you can go to if you need immediate help. I usually am online on my Discord most often, and I also am on Twitch if you guys want to give me a follow. See when I go live, watch some gameplay of the new build I'm gonna be doing, which is gonna be a Cyclone build. But yeah, that's basically it. That's that. Done. Thank you guys for watching again, and have a great day.